that, and from an equation that was given to me by Wayne Frederick, I'm able to produce 38 to 42 sales a year, buyers and sellers. It's all about staying in contact with people. It's all about staying in front of people and working that referral system. So I have different examples from some of my past classes that I'm going to put up so you guys can see some stuff visually about what we're trying to accomplish. This is my database from 2019. Like I said, it's analog version. You will not see an email address. You will not see a telephone number on these sheets. These are just simply addresses and people's names, and then the very important coding here on this left side border. A, B's, and C's, okay? The way that I do this, it's all based on Buffini principles, right? And I'll see if I can get us over to that other. Here. This is how we organize, right? Once we have our database lists together, and today we're going to do 10. That's the goal, is to have you guys do your 10 people and start with 10 people. And the first thing we're going to do is I want you guys to think back to your last sale, okay? Whether it was buyer or seller that you just closed. That's part of your database. That's a past client, right? That past client, you're then going to think of, will they give me a referral if I ask them? Right? If they will give you a referral if you ask them and they show you how, and you show them how to give you a referral, they're automatically classified as a B. If they've already given you a referral, they're classified as an A. If you don't think they're going to give you a referral, but it's good to stay in touch with them because they might resell someday in the next 5, 6, 7 years, they're a C. So I've coded all of my people, as you saw on the previous slide. All of my people in the 156 are coded A, B, C. Buffini teaches you A plus, A, B, C, D. I don't want to make it that complicated. My brain doesn't work like that. I try to keep it as simple as possible. So think about your last sale, very last sale. That's going to be the first one you write down on your piece of paper. Write that person's name, their address, and then classify them.
But I got the right number, the phone number, I thought you said it didn't have it. Which phone?
Yep, so you're going to have two in front of you. One is for the KB core. That's going to have email addresses, cell phone numbers, everything else. You can use the other analog one. You can use either one. But for today's discussion, it's really just about getting that first name on the piece of paper and then classifying them. So since about 2013, 2014, when I started selling again, I took about 10 years off to manage offices. I had learned the Buffini system, right? And I had applied it to all my past clients. And exactly what you guys are doing now, I've coded each one of my clients. And I started that way back then. So when I started selling again, I think my first year in 2015 or 16, I did like 20 deals, 21 deals, right? And then each year it's grown to 30, 40, 50, 60. Last year I did 86. So this system helps you grow your business, and it grows by referral, right? And the equation that Wayne Fredericks taught us, and I've always thought to myself, where's my business come from? How do I put an actual number on it, right? And I never really knew until I met Wayne Frederick, and he taught me this equation last year, or 2 years ago. And so the important thing to remember is, this equation, for me, it works. I can apply it to 2020 numbers, 2017 numbers, 2015 numbers, and it always plays out. And the way that it works is that if you take the total number of people in your database, the people you think will refer you business, or do refer you business, and you multiply that times 5. And the theory is, let's just take a simple number, okay? If you have 100 people in your database, the theory is that everyone in your database is going to know 5 people that buy or sell houses in the next 12 months. So that's 500 opportunities of referrals for you, right, from those 100 people. And then he says the capture rate should be 5%. That's 25 opportunities that you should be able to convert. So it's the number of people in your database times 5, because each person's going to know 5 people to buy or sell in a 12-month period, and then your capture rate from that is 5%. So this is how my numbers worked out last year. So at 156 people in my database times 5, that's 780 opportunities that I had. And from speaking and engaging with people and sending them gifts and having conversation and having coffee with them. I just had coffee with somebody this morning. I sold a house to 6 years ago. She refers me at least 2 people a year because I stay in touch with her. I keep that relationship going, right? So of that 780, because of what I do for marketing, relationship management, I should capture 5%. I should do 39 deals. 39 deals from my database. Plus I had about another 15 from my team. The people that work on my team was 54 total in 2022. And then I had some builder sales on top of that got me into the 80s. That's how my numbers played out, right? But it all goes back to, how we manage those relationships with the A, B, and C classifications. And then you're probably asking, well, what do I do with these people? How do I stay in touch with them? Well, today's class is about how you stay in touch with them, right? I'm going to teach you the analog versions that I've been doing for years to get me to that level. And then Josh is going to come in, talk to you guys about what KV Core can do as a platform, as digital technology. And I sat through it yesterday, and I don't know how much time he spent prepping on it, but there's stuff that I couldn't believe that this system does. It makes it so easy. And so when we go back to the formula and we try to get a 5% capture, the more you engage with people, the higher that capture rate is going to be. So if that 5% just goes to 6%, you go from 25 referrals to 30 referrals, just like that. So the more you keep in touch with these people, the more you stay in top of mind, the more you're going to convert them, right? So A, B, and C is very important. So the things that I do to stay in touch with people is I send them gifts. So I have a gifting program, and it usually starts up about September, and I send them different things. I have a chocolatier that makes me my own custom chocolates for my clients. She's right out of Wyndham. You can see I have stuff for Halloween, and these are Oreos covered in chocolate. Who doesn't like Oreos? Who doesn't like Oreos covered in chocolate? I don't know. Anyone on the planet? It's fantastic. Right? And then she's made me stuff for Valentine's Day. I also send out mums every September. So the mums cost me about, $10, $12, and that includes delivery. So the mums are so cost effective that I do 100 of them, right? I have 156 people in my database, but I really only have about 20 to 25 that are A's that refer me on a regular basis. I have, a larger portion of B's, and so the goal is to convert the B's to A's. I want these people who would refer me if I asked them to start referring me. And that's how I grow this database. That's how I grow this business. That's how I went from, 22 sales in 2015 to 86 sales, in 2022. You have to have the system in place. If you don't have the database written down and you don't have it coded, it's not going to do a whole lot for you because you don't know who you communicate with. So if you have it coded and you know the people that are literally referring you business, then you know who to spend your time and your money with, right? To me, the money you can spend on a system like this, as opposed to throwing money at Zillow or Realtor.com or something else, it's a no-brainer. When I do something like mums, I spend $1,000, but it hits 100 people. I just need one good referral out of that. The return on investment is insane. It's through the roof. The chocolates are a little bit more expensive. I spend about $350 to $450 per chocolate that's put together. The shipping is expensive because when I do the chocolates, I usually do about $75. The shipping on those alone, because they're in a package, it's going to cost me another $350. So with a good envelope, I'm close to $10 per unit that goes out the door. So I'm spending $750 to send out, 75 of those. If your database isn't that big, the best option is to do the delivery yourself. I don't have time to deliver 75 or 100 items, so I don't do it. I send it out. But if you have like 10, 20 people in your database, and you can find 4 times a year to knock on somebody's door and hand them something of quality, like this for, the holidays. And that's why I say this time of year is best for me, because you have so many holidays, so many reasons to give people gifts. And everyone likes to get a gift, surprise gift, they don't expect it coming, and you knock on the door and you're handing it to them. And the first thing they're going to do is, thank you. And the second thing they're going to do is start talking to you about real estate, because that's what people do when we're out and about, right? Doesn't matter where you see people, they know you're a realtor. They're going to start talking to you about real estate. So it's good to have a budget together. It's good to start planning on what you're sending people, and it's good to start doing it now. This is the perfect time to start us. If you don't have a system like this in place for your past clients and the people that refer you business, right now is the perfect time. You got November, December, January, February, there's all kinds of holidays in there. You got New Year's, you got Valentine's Day out in February. You got Thanksgiving, Christmas. There's all kinds of stuff. There's all kinds of reasons. And if you sit down and plan, take an hour a week to start. Get your database done, get it coded, and then put together a plan about what you're sending out to people, when you're contacting people. And if you can put this analog system together, couple it with what Josh is going to teach you next in KV Core, it's a no-brainer. You guys will sell so much more property next year because you have a system in place. And most realtors don't have a system in place. Most realtors just take it as it comes, fly by the seat of their pants. And again, I was like that for years. But once I started really doing this Buffini system and this relationship type management of my marketing, my business it grows every year. I had 1 year that it stepped back by maybe 10 units. But then the following year, I sold even more. So it always seems to grow my business. And it's a fantastic way to do business because the people that are referred to you, they listen to you, right? I mean, what's it like getting a Zillow lead? Do they listen to anything you say? Any advice you try to give them? What to offer, what to ask at home inspection? They don't listen to anything. You get a referral and they come from one of your past clients, they're listening to, there's credibility with everything you say. So in terms of longevity in the business, making the transaction easier for us emotionally, less stress, the referral system it's a no-brainer because the people are listening to you. There's no fighting with your actual client. You probably fight enough with the other agent, right? But there's no fighting with your actual client. And anyone that does the majority of their business by referral, which by the way, most of you guys do, if you look at your numbers, I guarantee 80 to 90% of your business is coming from referral. Past clients, people you know, people you've sold houses to. So the first thing I want you to do is let's get 10. This is a workshop. I want you guys to write out 10 names to start with. If you already have a database, perfect, you're done. If you don't have a database, you don't have one written down and coded like we're talking about, A, B, and C, I want you to do it now. The goal is to have 10 before we walk out of this room. The goal is to have 10 to start putting into KV Core and start applying all those digital tools, marketing, campaigns and stuff that Josh is going to teach you.
Can you go over A, B, and C?
Sure, absolutely. So A are clients who have sent you multiple referrals. Those are the people that refer you on a regular basis. You got 1 or 2 a year from these people. They call you out of the blue. I'll give you some examples. My roofer, right? This guy has bought and sold only one house with me. But when I have people that need a roof, I call Shane Norton. Shane, I got a roof for you. He goes over, he gets the estimate done, he gets the roof. Shane knows all kinds of people. He's got a booming roofing company. I get at least 2 referrals from him a year. And he's got a $1.2 million house that I'll be selling for him next year. Sits on a river, the Exeter River. Completely beautiful house. Sorry? Do you? Great. I mean, it's got an outdoor kitchen. It's got an in-ground pool. It sits on 7 acres, end of a cul-de-sac. This is Shane. He's on my database. He gets my stuff, right? He's an A. 2 deals a year, at least from Shane. But he probably gets 3 roofs a year from me. B. B is the most important part of the system itself. Because B is where you grow your business. B are the people that you know trust you, would refer you business. You just got to ask them, and you're going to tell them how. If you can do that, through, direct messaging of Facebook or Instagram, if you can do that through telephone calls, meeting with them for coffee, anything like that to get through to them. Yes, I'm engaged in the business full time. Yes, the business is challenging. It always has been. We're in a different environment now. I would like, for you to refer me business. Anyone you hear of might buy or sell a house, have them contact me. Here are my cards. And again, they're always getting you gifts. They're always getting your stuff. So you're top of mind. But those B's is where you grow your business. C's, I would say, are more of a mailing list category. They'll get all of your stuff, maybe not some of the goodies, but you want to touch them, maybe 4 to 6 times a year with whatever, calendars or postcards, because you might either sell their house or might get a referral out of them every few years. So C is still important. And then so when I manage this stuff, right, it's probably every couple months I lock myself in an office somewhere in one of the buildings that we have, and I take 2 or 3 hours and I go through my database. Which A's are now B's? Which B's can I move up to A's? Which C's can I drop off and just get rid of? Which C's can I move up into B's? Who bought or sold a house without using me? They're gone automatically. Like they're not going to stay on my system. And that happens to me 3 or 4 times a year. I have a past client that uses somebody else. Happens to us all. It's part of the business, right? So they're off the system. They get taken right out. So A, B, and C, very important. Everyone still writing? Yeah, and so there's 2 pieces of paper in front of you for this version of the meeting. One is just a basic analog system database for you to write down. Doesn't contain email, doesn't contain telephone number. The second one that's stapled, that's from KV Core. That's printed out from KV Core, so it has dozens of fields in it, which include telephone number, email address. And so as you're writing that stuff down,
You just mark it on your database? Or...
Yeah, you can do it right on that sheet, A, B, or C, for coding.
Oh, I was thinking I printed my database.
Oh, you did? Perfect. Yeah, that's even better.
I just mark it on
Yes, I definitely would. If you have a database.
These are the ones I should throw away?
Yep.
No, not the C's, whatever.
C's you want to keep.
Are you putting tags for A, B, and C? Hashtag?
So that's, when he gets up here, he's going to show you how to do that digitally. For me, honestly, I just have stuff in an Excel spreadsheet right now. I don't even have it in my contact management system in KV Core yet. I'm about halfway through getting my 160 or so people into my database on KV Core. I don't even have that system up and running yet. I literally am running this still from Excel spreadsheet. That's how I do mine. So if you have your database printed out, yes, I would write down A, B, go ahead and code them right now. Because as you go into KV Core and upload them, he's going to show you how we code them in KV Core under those different categories.
You don't have to manually put them into KV Core. They could do it in an instant.
Yes, if you have everything in...
On a spreadsheet.
Yeah.
Very quick.
See, the problem with my Excel spreadsheet, I don't have email addresses and cell phone numbers, which is crazy, right?
Yeah.
How do I not have that information written into my database?
It's on your phone.
I don't know, but I'm still doing 40 deals a year from it. Well, imagine what happens when I input that information. And digitally, I'm in touch with these people, every other week or something, right? I mean, if you look at the way I'm doing things, yes, it's consistent. Yes, I do 5 or 6 gifts a year. Yes, I reach out to people. So I'm doing everything on the back end of it. But I still don't have email addresses or cell phone numbers.
Digital if you don't have email.
Because I still have all those people on like Facebook, Instagram, right? I still have them in my phone, but I don't have them on my actual database sheet. Well, now that I'm halfway through inputting everything into KV Core, once that's complete, then I have everything in KV Core. Then I can run this whole thing from KV Core.
Okay, so I have everything in KV Core, so I want to know how to make them A, B, and C in KV
Mm-hmm.
Core.
He has figured it out.
So I'll wait.
He has figured it out. Yeah.
Andrew,
Yes.
is it easy? I have all of mine like that.
Mm-hmm.
But is it easy to get them into KV4? If you cut them already?
Yep.
in the database?
Yep. we're going to go over that second half of the meeting too. Yep. And then one of the other important components about working by referral, again, this is Buffini, is the rhythm of the referral system and some of the things that I kind of focus on when I'm working with people, because this system only works if you do everything, right? If you encompass all of these different disciplines. And one of the things to really keep in mind is number 3 here. I'll go through all of these, and then I'm going to talk about number 3 a little bit. So number 1 is adding people to our database. That's what we're doing today, right? We're going to do our first 10. Maybe you guys can do more. Number 2 is build relationships. Always have to have that relationship piece, right? And I'll give you an example. I hired somebody in 2009 who's very successful in the business. She was in sales in a different industry, and she came to me and she asked me, she said, I'm thinking about getting into real estate. What do you think? And I said, well, you have the one thing I can't teach you. I can teach you the whole business of real estate, contracts, disclosures, negotiation, all that stuff. Like, I can't teach you how to connect with somebody. That's something that you have that's part of you, where you can talk to somebody in the first 3 or 4 minutes, they start trusting you and they believe in you. That I can't teach you. I can teach you everything else. So she got into the business, became very successful. Relationships are everything we do in this business. Relationships are going to insulate us from, the internet-based real estate companies that are coming in trying to take their piece of the pie. They'll never get these relationships away from us. They'll never be able to do what we do, connect with people, because it's digital, right? There's only so much you can do online. Give excellent service, provide value. Number 3, very important. I'll get back to that in a second. Number 4 is ask for referrals, right? It's the important component of these of the B's, right? We have to ask the B's for referrals, and that's how we build our database, build our business. Receive referrals, which we all love doing that, right? Anyone receive a referral in the past week? Anyone? Oh, Karen in the back, right? I've got 2 this week. 2 referrals, right? It's fantastic. That's a great day. Like, I take 2 a month. Acknowledge and appreciate referrer. So every time I get a referral, I've got gift cards in my computer bag over there. Somebody refers me somebody. I either put it in the mail to those people who referred it to me, or I go directly to their house, knock on their door, and hand it to them. When people give you referrals, you have to acknowledge. You have to acknowledge with something, to show appreciation. Because what happens after that is they keep on referring you.
Andrew, what do you keep in the bag for gift cards?
So right now I have 3 Amphora Greek restaurant gift cards for $100. 3 of them. So as they come in, they go back out. And then so while I'm around town, just to support, the different businesses in and around Derry, which is my main base of business, I'll just pop into friends' restaurants and just buy gift cards from them, so that I have them on hand, so that when I get referrals, they go right out.
What about if you have a referral from out of state from another agent?
From another agent?
That was a friend.
Have they given you referrals in the past? Yeah? Oh, geez, yeah, I'd take care of them.
With what? If it's another
Home Depot gift card, Olive Garden, Amazon, anything that's national. Yeah, any kind of national thing. Yeah, that's super important. And then to turn a new lead into an advocate. You guys know what the difference between somebody that refers you business and somebody that's an advocate? Advocate's like the cheerleader, right? They're like, you've got to use Andrew White. Julie Dolion. She's fantastic. You have to use her no matter what, right? I have this one woman that lives on Beaver Lake in Derry. She's referred me 4 people over the past 2 years. She's never bought or sold a house with me. I've ran into her at different fundraising events. We've talked, we've engaged, we've built that relationship, right? She hasn't even used me, right, to buy or sell her house. But she's given me 4 deals. My average commission per transaction, $12,000. $48,000 she's referred me. You think she gets gift cards? Think she gets chocolates and flowers and everything else? Absolutely. She's an advocate. And I've never bought or sold her house with her. You want as many advocates as you can possibly can get. And again, when you build an A into an advocate, that's a huge win in your business. So getting back to give excellent service, number 3, super important. To develop people as referral bases, you've got to provide a great consumer experience. So if you're going through a transaction and these people, and again, we're in real estate, so we can't control everything, right? There's always going to be bumps in the road. But if you can give them the best possible experience that you can, your likelihood of them being a B or maybe an A is much higher than if you don't give them a good experience. And there's different ways to control, the experience they have, right? And I'll tell you a quick story, and I'm sure some of you guys have done it and some of you guys haven't in the business. But I was very good friends with the chief of police in Derry. His son was a firefighter buying a house. And so I found him a house, and we're a couple weeks away from closing, and had an old refrigerator in it that he didn't want, so we didn't put it in the contract. But then the listing agent calls me up. I was representing him as a buyer, and the listing agent calls me up and says, we're going to get rid of that refrigerator unless he really wants it. And I said, well, let me check with him. And I called him, and he said they can leave it there. I'll probably throw it out or use it as a beer fridge or something, whatever. I'm not really concerned about it. So I called her back. I said, no, don't leave it there for him. He doesn't want an old fridge that he's going to have to get rid of, right? Completely misread the situation. Because we get to the walkthrough, and his mom's walking through the kitchen. She goes, where's the fridge? And I said, well, it wasn't a very nice fridge, so I had them take it out. Mike said he wasn't sure if he really wanted it anyway. She's like, oh, no, he definitely wanted it. I'm like, oh, okay. Misread that situation. So I talked to Mike at the closing. He was okay with it. He's like, it's not that big of a deal. I'm like, no problem. I'm like, I appreciate you, understanding that it was just a miscommunication. So then I thought to myself, how can I really, affect this situation where he has a better experience, right? Because it's about the consumer experience. It's about getting referrals. And so I gave him a gift card to Home Depot to get a new refrigerator, not a full refrigerator. I think it was like $600 or $700. I just handed it to him. I said, listen, this is pretty much my fault. Go buy a new fridge. And he's super appreciative. Right? His experience became better. So within 3 weeks, he referred me a house in Sandon to sell. It sold for $450,000, and it was a 3% commission. And there's my $12,000, $13,000, $14,000 commission for $600 or $700 that I spent. Now, did I need to spend that money? Probably not. Probably still would have got the referral. But I controlled that situation because I did kind of make an error. I misread what was said. And I stepped up and I said, how am I getting, again, to me, it's all about referrals. And it's all about this list, that I put up here. It's all about referrals. It's all about this list of people. It's relationships, right? And so to build relationships, you have to give them a good experience, and you have to stay in touch with them. You have to stay engaged with them. So this isn't a list of people to me. This is a list of relationships. And I can pick anyone out of these 156, and I can tell you about them and what they do for work and about their kids and about their dog and about whatever, right? I was just at my chiropractor's office. Dr. Phil, I call him. His last name is some Polish name, Szawalski or something like that. But he's 6'6", right? He's a fantastic chiropractor because he's got a wingspan like a basketball player. And he just does a great job adjusting me. And he's got people in and out of his office constantly, right? So I'm always talking real estate to him and everyone that's in there. And he gives me referrals. He's got, his wife is also a chiropractor. They've got 2 kids. They've got a dog. I just sold them a house in Auburn. Sold their house in Derry. They wanted to, move out to Auburn. It's a relationship. Like, I know this guy very well. And there's dozens more in here. I could tell you about, any of these people that are on here. Joe Ciccarelli, right? Italian guy that does pipe cleaning, moves up from Belretto, wants a nice estate in Derry with 10 acres in a big garage. Well, I found him the perfect house. And now he hasn't given me a referral yet. And he's been in the house for 2 years, but he still gets my stuff because I know he likes me. And we talk, every once in a while, he'll call me and ask me my advice about real estate. So at some point, he's going to get developed, right? He lives there with his wife and his 3 German shepherds. So these are all relationships to me. So if you look at the referral-based system, and you don't look at it as a bunch of names, and you can look at it, and we all can do this, right? The 10 people you have written down in front of you, you can tell the story about the relationship you have with them. The place where we fail, and where I used to fail and drop the ball, is I wouldn't stay in touch with them. I wouldn't stay in contact with them. I wouldn't foster that relationship that we have. There's another name on here. Her name is Dawn Hunt. I sold her and her husband her husband, Justin, a house in Derry 6 years ago now. She owns an infused olive oil business down in Salem. Just her husband. They have cats. They don't have kids. And I had coffee with her this morning. First time I've seen her in a couple of years because she was freaked out about COVID and didn't want to see anyone. So I met her at Starbucks this morning, 9:30. First time we'd seen each other in 3 years. We've talked on the phone, chit-chatted back and forth, text messages. How long do you think we sat there and talked and didn't even take a breath? Yeah. About 100 minutes, over an hour and a half. Didn't even take a breath. Back and forth, talking, communicating. She's talking about her mother, her crazy mother. I'm talking about my crazy mother. Wife, kids, all that stuff. I mean, just total connection, right? Back and forth. That's the relationship. You know how many people she refers me a year? At least 2. 1 year, I think she sent me 4 people. But it's the relationship part of it that's super important. And you stay in contact with them by, reaching out to them, having coffee with them, sending them gifts. That's all part of it. But if you don't have the system in place to do that, then it's easy that 6 months goes by. It's easy that a year and a half goes by. And then after that, you're like, oh, should I really reach out to them at this point? Yes, you should. You absolutely should. Because at one point you had a connection with them. And trust me, when you call them, when you show up at their doorstep with, something delicious for them to eat or flowers or something thoughtful for their dog or their kids, they're going to reconnect with you and you're going to be able to develop them into this system. So don't give up on them. But that's the key to it, staying in touch with them. Don't give up on those relationships. Because like I said, with all of this internet stuff coming into play, all these internet-based companies, they're hopeful that we do give up on those relationships because then they can get in front of these people. We need to continue to contact them, continue to keep those relationships going. So the key to today is I want at least 10 of those names down. How am I doing on time? 1:39. I wanted to do 45 minutes. Look at that. Right on track. So are there any questions? Is there any feedback? Do you guys have anything else you want to talk about?
It always feels awkward, to your point, you let a year and a half
Mhm.
go by. And you have, we're all guilty of it. How do you reestablish that relationship?
You know how you start it? I have a apology letter. A scripted one that Brian Buffini wrote.
Over the phone, you say this, so you send
It's an actual letter. And you send the letter first, then you call them. Or you shoot them a message. Yep, works great. And then when they start getting gifts from you, it doesn't,
they forgive you.
Yeah, they forgive you. Trust me, it's not as daunting a task as you think it is at all. Because those people, come on, that's what we do well. We connect with people. They loved us during the transaction, right? I mean, some of them didn't. But most of them did. And the ones that did, easy, no problem. They want to talk to you. Trust me. Other questions?
So just to piggyback on that,
Yeah.
the other thing, we talked about this yesterday in Laconia that's fantastic for that is go back to Wayne's, Wednesdays with Wayne, the past client systems module. And he has a whole program, whole process for reconnecting with people in your database. And also techniques to help you sort them, whether they're A's or B's, you can move them up and move them down.
Yeah, so Wayne provides awesome tools for us to do all that stuff. Yep. Other questions? Jen?
At what point do you
Heave-ho? So, I mean,
I've had people that I've dropped off stuff to, and unfortunately sometimes they're not home. I've sent them stuff.
Yep.
I do the home box, so I send them the thing.
Yep.
But when you
Do they?
take the time to drop stuff off to the house, they don't respond. There's no, no, gee, thanks, I got your gift, or
So, a lot of people, more people are not going to respond than are going to respond. That one key indicator that I really use is, do they have a house they're going to sell, I think, within the next couple of years? And if they do have a house that I think they're going to, the kids are going off to college and you see, those kinds of changes in their lives, then I stay with them anyway.
I mean, I have had people straight up tell me, oh, my niece just got her license, so we're gonna have to use her, blah blah blah. And I know this.
Yeah, in those instances, gone. Yep. Yeah, in those instances, they're gone. Yeah, you take them right off the list. And again, you're not sending gifts out to all of them. You know, of my 156 on a regular basis, is probably half of those that are getting stuff that's costing me money.
So,
Yeah. Other than that, it's, you know, it could be baseball calendars, it could be newsletters. All that stuff's easy, cheap. Goes out to my C's. You know. Yep. Other questions? Julie, did you have your hand up? No. Anyone else? Awesome. Guys, if you don't know, I'm so excited about this stuff. Like this is our business. If you're not doing this database stuff, you have to do it. Just make time and do it. Write down your names, code your names, and put a system in place for it. That's how you grow your business. And you can apply that equation. You know, if you have 50, you know, you're going to get about 12 or 13 leads a year out of this thing. And it works. This stuff works. So if you have any questions, if you need any help with it, you know, please reach out to me. I'm going to reach out to everyone that's been at both of these classes, pretty much everyone in the company. And I'm going to do a database accountability Zoom call. It's going to be about 15 to 20 minutes a week. And I'm going to get everyone on the Zoom call. And I'm going to go through who's done what. I'm going to have people tell success stories. And hopefully we can get some consistency with this. Because again, remember, I'm not a super organized person. You know, I like to procrastinate. But this stuff, I force myself to do because I love it. And I know it produces.
Is there some type of service out there, like a email finder?
Email finder.